So, are we ever going to start the episode, or is it just going to be bullshit that Anthony didn't record?
Let's go. What is it actually about? It's about live action movies, right?
Vampires.
It's vampires? Son
Yeah.
of a bitch. I thought you said live action.
That's why I drew a vampire. Hello?
Well, shit.
All right. Anyway, so are we doing live action versus is it a good thing or a bad thing?
We'll do live action and vampires because we could go through it pretty quick. So,
let's blend them. I mean, fucking Blade.
I was gonna say, I have
example.
too much stuff to talk about vampires, and I know Stevie has done too much research to skip this topic.
Going to do research,
Right.
and then I came home and went to sleep for 4 hours.
we'll start with vampires
Okay,
and
but
see
all
where
the
we
years
end.
of books you read.
I will be your Daisy.
There's the sparkly vampires. Twilight.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no. We don't discuss the abomination.
Worst
Okay.
live action ever.
If it wasn't for Robert Pattinson, that movie would have bombed. That one?
What about the other, the werewolf dude that was involved in the
No.
love train?
No.
Oh, come on. What was his name?
Jacob.
Jake, yeah. I was thinking it's
his
either
real
Jack
name
or
is
Jake,
Tyler
but I think Jack is
Lautner.
Titanic.
Lautner?
Tyler Latner? Tyler?
Lautner.
Yeah, come on,
Lautner.
tell me you didn't find that dude pretty fucking... Yeah,
No.
No? Seriously?
No. Especially when he
I
wore that
love him.
really bad wig in the first movie.
The wig was
What were they
awful, but he's so cute.
I'm pretty sure
There are
Team
one
Jacob
more
person
outstacked
they chose to
Team.
give him that one.
Was it Edward?
Like-
Okay,
Yeah, Edward
we're...
and Jacob.
Yeah.
Sparkly vampire bullshit. Giant werewolves. Because those are easy to hide.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that they're good portrayals of werewolves or the Nosferatu. I'm just saying that, I mean, like, you know, those were kind of sexy portrayals, especially when, like, you go back to,
Like,
especially when you go back to, like, Nosferatu 1922. I mean, have you seen that shit? Have you, like, the dude was fucking hideous. Like, over time, like, vampires got, this stupid fucking word.
Blow up?
Revamped. To, I knew it. I fucking knew it. To like, you know, be like these.
that's the word of the day now.
These sexy things. And like one of the people I would like to blame the most for is Anne Rice. Fuck her portrayal of vampires.
I love her, and I will die on her. I don't care. Like, most of her writing is really dry. But I like Lestat.
It's a hard
so
thing
wait,
to read. It's a lot.
Do you love the character Lestat as she portrays him, or do you love the character Lestat as movies portrayed him, specifically?
Books. I read the books way before. Way before.
Yeah.
Cruise.
No, I think probably most of us did like to talk about Lestat, and so he's a very attractive, detached character.
Have you read The Tale of the Body Thief?
No. I've only...
Okay, then you can't talk about Lestat. You don't know his origin story. That kid is fucked up. And, like, his whole life story is very intense, and I think you would actually like it. He ends up accidentally raping a woman when he gets transported into a different body and doesn't know how to deal with human emotions.
Yeah, so I've read about it. And I'll grant you, like, all the leeway you want. That's not reading the book itself, that's just reading about the topic in the book or whatnot.
We know y'all went muted, so keep going.
We're not muted. She's just trying to turn the fucking camera at me.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Anyways, Michael, I have a great question for you. So, why are you upset about the sexualization of vampires when their whole entire process and being in terms of biting people in the neck is built off of one of humanity's greatest fetishes. Also slapping, apparently, for Miss Stevie. Stop it!
Right there. Okay.
I think that's a good question, though. Would you mind?
So,
No. Stop showing
do
the
you-
mess bed.
you're both showing the messy bed for starters.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
Bro, I'm trying,
So-
okay?
so in
We had fun before. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go. Answer the question.
in the time period in which vampires got novelized and popularized in the Western world, we had the assumption that what's the fucking artery right up here?
Parotid?
Carotid.
Artery?
Yes. Yeah, because it goes
Very smart.
carotid.
Jugular vein, carotid artery.
Yeah, this is
neck.
carotid, and then this is the vascular, right?
Fucking Anthony.
Alright, so anyway, in that time period, we had the assumption that, like, this was the fastest way to absorb blood. This was the quickest way you could bleed out. And that's where, when you look to vampires being popular, yeah, that's where, like, those two notions intertwine, and then...
I call it evolution of a species.
Fetishization. Wow, that was good or English. The fetishization of vampires is evolution?
No,
Vampires.
they
That's a
they
species.
grew to match humanity so that they wouldn't get called out. Like, if it was a real thing, I'm just saying. Like, because in the beginning they were demons and they possessed humans and they used them to get what they wanted,
Well,
but they couldn't control their
But
demon
we've
form or
since
whatever.
be able to explain that as, our mental illnesses, and now we're just explaining the myth of the Nosferatu as, this is what got us to these things, and now we have better understanding, so we understand that, like, people bled out pretty quickly and normally died of neck wound back in the 1800s. And so, now we understand that, well, yeah, it's a place that's a pretty major artery, and will bleed out really quick, but it's still not the quickest one to bleed out. And so, like, if vampires really wanted to be productive, I mean, they'd be going down every day.
So you
It's
really
happening
don't
for
read Anne
vampires,
Rice.
Okay.
No, I
We know who's stuck in the phallic stage.
well, no,
Oh.
see, so that's the thing. We've been focusing on Anne Rice's, and I haven't been trying to, but I have inadvertently, basically kept it on her, I don't know, autonomy of the vampire? Would that be correct?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
a pretty general one.
They're,
Not
Well-
the only one.
no,
No.
that's what makes Anne Rice shit, is because she's fucking general. She just followed the populace. She didn't actually dig into lore about vampires.
She just wanted to write smut.
Yeah,
At least
Yes.
She said it.
it's, and that's fine. That's great. I love vampire smut. There's,
I recommend Laurel K. Hamilton if you want
yes,
vampire
okay,
smut.
okay.
Have you
okay.
read it? Have you read her? Oh my god, I love her
Oh
so
my,
much.
my wife was fucking obsessed with her.
I love her so much.
Oh,
Book 29 is coming out next year.
no, fuck
29.
her. Because that's the disgusting part about her is, like, it's just how weird can I make this smut?
Yes, she went from a wonderful story, and then some of her books right in the middle
Yeah,
are just sex scenes.
I'd say the first 3 books were decent, and then, like, everything just...
She doesn't even
Dive
really get into
down.
sex until like book 7.
No, but she starts, like, setting up these weird tropes about...
Yeah, she was exploring her own sexuality while she was writing, and you can see it evolve in her books.
her fucking sexuality.
She's poly.
I'm not kink shaming, but holy fuck.
Also, some
Holy
of that shit. True.
Well, you learn as
But
you go along. That's why
she
you implement it in the
also-
books.
Yeah, she also was writing real, like, big smut scenes because she was getting so much hate.
So I
So-
feel like all the vampires that we're talking about are highly sexualized ones. Like, I want to get, strangely enough, I want to get off the topic of sexualization and more onto the topic of, like, compelling vampires. Like, ones that, like, it wasn't because you wanted, like, some sexual component, but rather, like, there was, like, an intrigue behind the backstory. I've mentioned him before.
One for you.
There's...
One for you. At least one. Keep going. You finish your thought.
So I've mentioned him before. At least you and Antwon didn't know about him. Stephen Burst's Agyar, like, is such a romantic story, and I hate romance. But, like, it's romantic in the way that, like, this thing is cold and dead, and it is... I wanna hold your hand.
I'm sorry, it's just really awkward.
You
I
can
promise I'm
see
listening.
it.
She's just grabbing her
you
boob
see it?
all over.
Look.
Wow, she.
I told you it's trying to kill me.
More OnlyFans content.
An underwire that's fucking trying to kill me.
I mean, look at that thing. That thing's long, guys. See? Look at it. You won't hear that twice.
Not from Megan, anyway. I can't. It's trying to stab me in my armpit.
Just take your bra off.
Stop trying to get me out of my bra.
Just give me what I want. Come on.
I need some Chinese food first. I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, done.
That's not
Michael,
fair.
you were talking about, though, please.
I want some
Continue.
Chinese food.
I promise. I was listening. It was just very distracting. She's over here grabbing her fucking bra.
This is not
making
my
noise.
man.
There is
This
also
is
a
my bra.
Alucard. I feel like
Alucard.
I'm
Do that one more
yelling.
time and you just sold your first level.
$50 Patreon content. Anyway,
50, 10.
20.
Michael, please continue.
As you were.
It's kind of the same way I've always been. I don't have a lot of character growth in this series.
That's fair. We'll wait till you're a crotchety old man. Thought you'd be nice then.
And I still don't have a lot of character growth in this series, god damn it.
You need to get
He's
you a
so
pipe.
nice as he gets older.
He has one.
He's like the definition
No,
to
it's
chase some motherfucker down. He's walking on his lawn.
Oh, darn, kids.
Get out
All
my lawn.
Dude, I'm already pissed off about kids being on my lawn. And I was pissed off before I was a homeowner. I would just see their dog take a shit in my yard and them not clean it up. I'd be like, hey, fucker, come here.
It's the worst.
Get over here. Kick
They
up
literally
your
walk across the street and go in that little strip and have their dog do their business.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't do it in my fucking yard.
Exactly.
So anyway,
it's rude.
let's turn this a little bit back onto topic. I want to know, and this is personally, you can, within the vampire subset, what type of vampire are you? Are you the
What type of vampire do I want to be?
what type? No. Tell me what vampire you are. Tell me, and don't tell me like, you know, I'm Blade. No, like
hell
tell me
no.
what type of vampire you would be. Like, be all like, I'd be the horny succubus type that is constantly drinking blood and fucking overnights. Or
I would
I'd
be the
the
mastermind criminal.
dark.
Okay?
Hold on.
You should let him finish because I don't know vampire types. It's uncool.
Or I would be the dark brooding type that isolated myself away for a few thousand years simply because I could not deal with humanity. Would you, like, what would you
How do you
do?
accuracy?
What would you do with immortality, but an insatiable need for blood?
Fuck
So
with
you're
people.
gonna have to interact with some sort of society, and let's remove the restriction. Like, let's go a whole Brad Pitt. What the fuck was it? There was a Staten Louis. Let's go with you could just drink rat blood all your life and still sustain. what would you do with immortality of that caliber?
I would learn everything.
Criminal mastermind.
Yes. Now,
Criminal mastermind, for sure. Because then you get to fuck with people and they have no idea what happened. Because it's the same MO and it's been going on for centuries and no one knows what the fuck happened.
so are you saying that you would be a criminal master?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
All right, Megan?
What would you do with immortality?
Ooh.
Immortality. Well, hold on. So the question is clear. Immortality, but you have the insatiable need to feast on blood. Which
But it
means
can be
you're
non-human blood, right?
Yes, but you're going to be killing something constant.
You have to kill? It's that kind of vampire?
Oh, you don't have to kill.
You can't just have, like, orgies?
So, alright, we'll
I like
remove
the way you think.
Damn, I'd be an orgy vampire. So I like the more underworld explanation that it's an infection.
Yes, but how do you spread?
And
Is it just one bite?
No, I think of it as an infection. So infections have probability rates. So you may have a higher tolerance to the viral load, therefore you don't get the actual infection and subsequent disease. Whereas some people may
are
have...
naturally immune. And
Yeah, think of it as COVID.
Rona.
So to tie it all back to that, that's how I think of vampirism.
Backstreet
Is
Boys.
that, like, you know, are back alright.
Hey then, onward. I'll stick with what I said.
Alright, that's cool, fine. I mean, if everyone else is agreeing with your definition over mine, then we're gonna run with
No
yours.
one's agreeing with either one of us because we have so many vampires in our head that it's just like, what are we talking about? Because I also have one that is literally nanites, and they were in Atlantis, and that's how they survived, is because nanites. Anyways, so
Ultimately, the best vampire and the best way to live a vampire life would simply be, you need to live off of blood. However, you can actually make people drink your blood, and then when they drink your blood, they automatically become super, infatuated with you, and that they will actually volunteer their blood up to yours, their blood up for you, so that way you can drink it with them volunteering, and then you get so many to rotate, so that way they don't actually die, and you can go through their whole entire life process until they die of natural causes, and then you go select a new group as you get older, and then with that, you don't have to worry about feeding. You can go and fill your time with knowledge and whatever else you want to do, because you are eternal that way, and you don't rise suspicion, and simple as that. Life goes on.
there you go.
Is it just me, or did that sound like a vampire version of human roofing and date raping?
Pretty much the same
I
thing.
was thinking of the
blood would
school
be,
system.
Not far
The Kool-Aid?
It's
Don't
working
drink the
off
punch.
of their own natural pheromones, though. So
Yeah. But ultimately, I mean, that's how you can go without killing people. That's how you can get your endless supply, and you can continue to pursue whatever knowledge you want, and you can just live eternally that way. I mean, you'll have to move towns, obviously, because apparently people are going to notice that you ain't getting old. And, yeah.
okay, so have you guys seen? It's not Man from the Moon. I'm gonna have to look this shit up.
All right. Look it up.
Oh, no, Man,
you got it.
Man of Earth.
Man of what?
Man of Earth.
Man of Earth.
It
7 billion
sounds
of them, I
familiar,
know.
but I don't know.
The Man from Earth. It was released in 2007. It documents someone that has a perfect cellular regeneration, and so their cells never die. And he has to basically, all he does is he spends his entire life learning. He gains PhD after PhD, but he explains to everyone that the only thing he can know is current knowledge. He can't be really past that. no matter how many PhDs he gets. And one of the things they ask about is why he's moving from the city, and that in the 10 years he's been there, he's never grown old. Like, to me, he's the perfect description of a perfect vampire because he doesn't actually. He feeds on, like, social interaction in that he has friends, and. But then he's able to just walk away from them and continuously exist. And I think if I was a vampire, like, that's what I would want, is to be able to. Fuck. What's that famous library that. The Library of Alexandria. I would have loved to have been able to sat in there for 1,000 years and just read every fucking book. I don't think it would make me any smarter than what I am right now, but to have that wealth of knowledge and just to go about it throughout the centuries, like, to me, that's the more romantic version of vampires. I think the tortured version is that they have to satiate themselves with blood or lust or things of that nature. I yield.
All right, that's a good one. Good explanation. How do you come about the blood and surviving? Are you going to murder?
There are loopholes in some versions of vampires where you don't have to drink blood for, like, probably a decade or so. So, like, as long as you had enough, or, like, you could capsulate enough that wouldn't go bad or whatever, you could have a stock for a few 100 years, maybe.
Well, and even within, I mean, like, say if you look at Helsing, he was able to dry up, Alucard was able to dry up into a husk for however long Integra's father was dead. And, like, with one drop of blood, he was able to come back. So, I mean, you've got also those mythos.
So just, like, make blood capsules, like, have a whole, like, 6 bottles. It'll last you a bit.
True blood. Fake blood that sustains you.
Run fake blood donations. Get a whole
Yeah,
setup.
I gotta admit, I didn't watch True Blood or The Vampire Diaries, so.
Don't. The series was good, but it was nothing like the books. The books were actually good.
Now, True Blood's the one with the gay guy that's all like, who
He was
ordered
not gay.
The chef?
He was not gay in the books, which is weird.
Okay, but the one that has the huge clip about, you know, who ordered the burger without age. 'Cause all the burgers.
Oh, yes, and he spit on it.
That was good shit.
Okay.
Lafayette was great. That character was
Lafayette,
wonderful. He wasn't like that in the book, and he died in the book.
Oh, okay. Does he not die in the series? I've never.
Eventually, I
watched
think.
or read.
Charlene Harris, I love her too.
There were
I like
a lot
vampire
of
books. Love them.
Well, but there's just a lot of ones that, like, they revolve around, like, that whole Anne Rice romance. It's, like, why I don't like Anne Rice is the same reason that I don't like Shakespeare, is because I fucking hate the romanticized concept of love, and both of them were just all like, in your face!
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
what do you mean by the romanticized version of love?
I don't believe there's a one, or that, like, someone completes you, or any sort of nonsense like that. I believe that if you're not a whole person going into a relationship, that your relationship is dead from the start. I don't like this idea of dying for another person, unless it's for, like, really a rational cause. So, like, you know, if I have a kidney and I only have one kidney, and I know that I can save you, and I know that your quality of life is going to be better than mine, then yeah, like, fuck it, let me die, and you take the kidney, and you go on being a person. But this idea that, like, spiritually or romantically or whatever, like, you complete me. I hate that line. That is the dumbest line in the world. Like,
That's
you
fair.
complete me. Like, no. No one can complete you but your complete self. If it takes another person, you've glanced over something that you really need to be looking at.
I agree. I think if you look at a societal level, we were taught to think that we're incomplete and that we need another person. We need monetary things, we need commodities, we need possessions, everything to acquire this void that somehow supposedly exists in us. A person, a car, a level of prestige, whatever else. And it goes back to the sexualization of vampires. I mean, you can link that in there too.
Well, exactly,
All
because I
these
think
things.
when they first started out, they were like just something we were supposed to be repulsed about, but ultimately we came to sort of rejoice, and it's really the weirdest thing that we rejoice the most disgusting things in society.
It's
Gonna
not weird.
go on a bit of a anti-capitalist rant and just be like, we rejoice millionaires and billionaires. Why? They're fucking disgusting. To have that much wealth and to pay little to nothing to have that much wealth, all because you found a shit ton of loopholes? I mean, isn't that what a vampire is? It just found a shit ton of weird loopholes that allows it to exist perpetually.
To survive.
The
Yeah.
argument
Oh,
is that it
yeah.
could maybe be
Well,
parasitic
it's
almost.
but it's not
Definitely
surviving.
parasitic.
Okay, it may be
Oh, in the
parasitic.
end game, it's about survival.
Well, but how is
Selfish survival.
how is that? How is survival fucking 6 yachts and 3 mansions?
All right,
we're
so
talking about vampires, not
yeah,
billionaires.
yeah,
Billionaires
billionaires.
are-
After that, it's past survival.
For
It's
the record,
luxury.
most billionaires have psychopathic tendencies. Their capacity for empathy. My God, I can't fucking speak today. Empathy.
I lack
Did you say
Their
Anthony
social
right
cues
there?
and everything along those
Sometimes, yes.
lines are limited. That way, they can succeed because they put themselves forward and they don't see or care. Literally, they don't process the issues they're doing to everyone else. That's how it becomes survival to them because they don't see it. They don't register the same emotional cues that someone who has does.
Okay, but would you not assume the same things of vampires?
No, I'm
Just
saying they're
drawing
completely
this
aligned.
right back. Okay, so then vampires lack empathy. Like, why would a creature that lives for thousands of years lack empathy?
Do you think about how isolating? My God, I can't fucking speak today. How lonely and isolating that has to be. People you fall in love with are gonna die. You're never gonna have one lifelong partner, one
Okay,
friend,
so
one
is
family unit, anything
is
like that.
that how
You're gonna be alone your whole life.
is that how you're comparing that to a millionaire or a billionaire? Is because they
No, I'm
can't
saying
have
they're
these same
parasitic
social.
tendencies.
Yeah, but wouldn't you consider those also the same parasitic tendencies? Because you can't, like, once you have Megan, if you had $67 million in your bank account or investment portfolios, do you think that you would be the same person you are right now in this moment?
I can genuinely say with probably 75% certainty, I would never get that much money. I would give it away.
It's hypothetical, I think.
Okay. Yes, hypothetically, if you had
No.
six.
My morals would probably have changed.
She might
Okay.
actually spend money.
So
It might be
would
wonderful.
so effectively, wouldn't you be immortal till the day you die? You don't have to worry about medical costs or anything like that.
No, you would not. Immortality means you literally
No,
cannot die. If access to resource, you can still
Effectively,
die.
hold on. Effectively immortal until the day you die.
I don't agree with it.
What
because you
makes
can
you
still be hit by a
what
car.
makes you realize mortality more? Is it the fact that you're
Potential
just a
loss of it?
is it the fact that you're a biological being, or is it the fact that you're a biological being who also cannot afford certain things? Would you worry? Would you? Oh, okay. Would you worry about your existence as a mortal creature if you knew rent was always covered, utilities were always covered, health benefits were always covered? Would you worry about that, or would you actually spend more time on things in which you actually wish to endeavor? Like, would you spend the first 20 years of your life in a library or?
I'm going to say this goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So if you've never heard of it, it's pretty much a pyramid.
No, I know what it is.
You have food, you
I
have
also,
shelter, security, safety, right? When you go up, you get closer to enlightenment or the idea of it. You start to work on the higher self, the more refined things that if you don't have daily safety, knowing there's a roof over your head, motherfucker, you have food on your table, you're not going to be attacked 24/7, 365. As soon as you have those base needs met, you can get to there. So if we're going off of that premise, the idea that those needs are met, I see where you're going, but it's still not immortality, because to not be able to die makes your morality so much less meaningless. Because if you could die the next day, you think about how you behave the day before, right? How you treat people. If you have an endless time scheme, it's not going to matter. You can fix it in a year, 10 years, 8, all of it. It changes morality because it loses its context. We're only moral beings because we can die. If we're not if we're not mortal, morals don't matter that much.
So you realize that there was an amendment made to Maslow's, and I forget the fucking dude's name. I want to say it begins with an H, but I can't find it right now because I'm not really all that concerned with finding it. In which he broke down like the hierarchy to an even smaller structure, and so there is some need for hierarchy. That's why anarchism does not work and cannot work currently within the mainframe of our psychosis isn't a good word, but our psychosis.
I don't mean to be a dick and cut you off, but be careful, because Maslow's all dealt with internal needs and the individual. Once we go into anarchy, that's a societal presence and construct. So be careful, because anarchy at an internal level is far different than anarchy from a societal basis.
So many individuals try to extrapolate Maslow onto like sort of an anarchical strain, and I think that's probably where you get like ANCAPs and socks. But I think what we need to look into in the hierarchical. I can't pronounce that
I'm
word.
rubbing off on you. I'm sorry.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Is that these needs are not necessarily necessities. They're social constructs in which we create, and so like you have perceived and actual, and what most of us are doing is the perceived instead of the actual. Correct?
Be careful. because it all depends on how you define life.
I'm. That's why I'm asking questions instead of asserting something. That's why I want to know. Would you agree with the statement that most of us live under perceived facts as opposed to actual facts, and perceived hierarchies as opposed to actual hierarchies?
I'm sorry, I'm that dick. Are we talking absolute truths with a capital T, or are we talking functional truths?
I would
in terms
go
of
more.
facts and not facts.
I would go more with functional truths as opposed to actual truths because I think it's very hard to have an actual truth,
I agree. Then
or at least to prove an actual truth.
it's very hard, yeah. So yes, for the purpose of this, I would agree with that.
Okay, then. So, do you not agree that one of the biggest imports within our existence is our acknowledgement of feelings and getting the acknowledgement reciprocated?
How are you connecting to both of those?
Well, because the acknowledgement of our feelings is the perceived, whereas the actual is that our feelings don't fucking matter.
But feelings and emotions are perception, which is based on an individual basis, and it can never be transformed for what I feel onto Stevie or what Stevie feels onto me. That's not possible. So I don't think that's... I don't agree with that logic.
Okay, where do you
I think it's more
disagree?
complex than that.
Okay, what do you think's more complex? I mean, we are trying to understand the mind of a vampire, and we're wrapping around.
Yeah, we went far from vampires.
I thought we
I
were back
don't.
to just
I
regular
don't.
society. That's like
I-
we're in
I-
episode.
By the way.
I don't think we have like fallen very away or very far away from like vampires, because in order to understand society, we've got to step back several paces. Vampires supposedly exist those several paces. They would be our best understanding of the failures, the fruitions, the ambitions of society. Would they not? And if they could exist this long, understand us in these ways, be able to cast these sort of spells upon us, wouldn't they be able to understand our perceived versus like what we want to actualize? I apologize
To be
for
honest,
using
I'm
actually
not quite...
actualize.
Sorry. Okay. So to be honest, I'm not quite sure. Because if you start ingesting blood, and let's assume it's human blood, right? It's going to have a different... I'm assuming, of course, and talking out of my ass is speculation, but guess. If you have human blood and you're ingesting it regularly, it is going to affect your brain differently. The amount of nutrients you're getting, so on and so forth. I'm
Well, the
assuming
iron
it might
content's gonna make
impact your
you fucked
cognitive
up.
abilities. It could make them better. It could make them worse. We all know with cannibalism, for example, when you eat your own human flesh, you can literally start to get necrosis and stuff like that. What would human blood do? What would at the very minimum, if you're drinking any blood, the increased iron would probably have a deficit on your prefrontal cortex, which is your higher functioning. That's morality. So I don't think it's a fair assumption to assume that vampires would behave and think the same way humans do, unless we know how the amount of blood and the concentrates in it would affect them.
So I'll agree with you. I don't think that they would think and behave the way that we do. I think that in order to understand them, we're coming at it from the wrong approach. I guess. I don't know. To get to your point about like them ingesting iron, I would assume that they evolved in order to ingest those nutrients. In fact, their bodies require those nutrients specifically because they kind of die without them. So
Most vampire science says that the blood is what keeps the cells going. It has nothing to do with the brain. The brain's already dead.
Okay, well then vampires are just dumb because you can't have
I mean,
a
it would
dead.
probably go down to a viral need.
Your
to survive, and that's
your
it.
nervous system wouldn't function properly if fucking your brain was dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, most vampires don't feel pain in most of the lore. I mean, I'm the uncultured swine in the room here, so I'll admit I know the least about vampires. But most of the time, they don't feel it. They regenerate really well. If you agree to most lore and stuff, they have superpowers or they're extra strength or
Possessed by demons. That's how their bodies function. It's magic, not science.
some of them.
Or at least in a lot of them.
But magic doesn't exist.
We're talking about vampires, buddy. Unless you just want to talk about psychic vampires or emotional vampires. We got that too.
Oh, those suck.
Those don't exist either.
Have you guys watched What We Do in the Shadows? I love those vampires.
Yeah, they're great. What is it? Taika Waititi? Waititi? I don't know. Shit, I think I'm thinking of another fucking series.
I'll do you a solid and
Do
edit
we
that
think
out.
they lose them or no? What's your premise? What's your argument?
Okay, so
Depends on the universe.
That's
That's
a cop
true.
out, ma'am.
So
What's
okay,
your personal idea?
okay, so I think that vampire semen is dead semen, and vampire egg is dead egg, or vampiress if you want.
I think they keep the organs, they just lose the desire, and then ultimately just start using people and their
In
desire.
Anne Rice,
Whoa,
they
whoa,
lose
whoa.
the function because the blood doesn't pump like that.
Yeah,
But
so-
in other ones, blood still pumps, so...
And also the one where
Depends
you
on-
bite someone so you can.
That's why you stab them in the heart, and half of those and they die because the
Oh,
blood
okay,
will no longer circulate.
okay, maybe something we can all agree on. Vampires
That's a
are
tough
like
one.
in a. Yeah, I know. Vampires are in a constant state of death.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're
That's-
classified as undead or dead.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
they're immortal.
well, even if you want to classify them as undead or whatever, but they're in a constant struggle with like actually dying, and so like that's why like a vampire like Alucard just dries up, and it only takes a lick of blood, and so they're in a constant battle of cell death. I guess you could think of it in biological terms. Yay? Nay?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll behave
Sid.
and agree.
Like how you're like, I don't know much about vampires.
All right,
but
so what's your favorite
biology.
way to kill a vampire? Or better yet, if you're a vampire, what would be the most horrible way that you could die? Which way do you not want to die as a vampire?
I actually don't think that a vampire can die. I like the Helsing version of a vampire.
So he could go out into the sun and that didn't kill him? He didn't disintegrate or anything like that?
Would stakes have no effect on him? I gotta watch that.
They all have effects on him, but he can never truly die because of how many souls he's absorbed. And so, like, the way Helsing kind of portrays, I should say Helsing Ultimate, portrays a vampire, is that there are fake vampires, which can be, like, lab-grown. And then there are real vampires, which, depending on how many souls they... Well, drinking a person's blood, like, allows you a person's soul. And so, in, like, Helsing Ultimate, like, Alucard has more than 1 million souls, so they have to kill him at least 1 million times. Let's say he had 1 million souls. They would have to kill him at least 1 million times. But because his consciousness still resides within other people, like people that he's met, like he still exists, and therefore can always come back and just start reaping souls again. As far as I understood it, maybe Cid has a take here.
I still go back. I personally like the demon version myself. It's I don't know, maybe the most common one I've come across. Stevie has way more knowledge about the different versions of vampires than I do. Actually.
I like to read. It's fine. But, like, it's interesting because is that a vampire or is that just like a. What is the word I'm looking for? Like, that would kind of be a demon because you're just reaping souls. You're not just taking blood to live, you're taking souls? It doesn't
So
seem very vampiric. It seems more demonic.
I would feel that you would need to read at least a little bit more into the lore. It's
I haven't seen
very,
whole thing.
it's very much based on Vlad the Impaler. Obviously, his name is Alucard. That's Dracula backwards.
Okay.
He starts in like the Ottoman Empire, and he starts as basically a child sex slave, being constantly raped by the one of the kings of the Ottoman Empire, until he does make a pact with a demon, I believe is what happens. But this demon is more just like some sort of like hell being. It's not like I don't think a great deal of backstory is given to it. This is going to be really weird to walk into my computer tomorrow and see orgasms, the 4 stages of pleasure. Anyway,
You're welcome.
and so then like that begins like basically he becomes a conqueror for the Ottoman Empire, winds up killing like shit tons of people, in drinking their blood. He does gain their souls, but that only increases his power levels. And so like there's this weird skit throughout all of it where he's all like, you know, unleash power level 1, whatever restrictions, and then you know it finally ends with him unleashing all of his power restrictions, and then it is him standing there on a battlefield with like just millions of corporeal souls around him, and they all go into this great big battle. That's where he dies. Flash forward, because there are these 2 individuals that he's bitten before, that have some sort of vampiric form. They're very much lesser than him, but they have memories of him. Therefore, like, he can come back, he can kind of phase back into the world.
Okay. Very anime.
I'm sorry, I think that's fucking beautiful story writing and just a great character.
Oh no, it sounds really like interesting, and I might actually have to watch that eventually when I'm in the mood for anime.
So Horcrux inside of himself.
That's fair. But it's just I don't know. So, do you have a word of the day, Michael?
Yeah, right there. Revamped.
Okay. What's the definition? Can you use it in a sentence? Did I put you on the spot with words? Did your dog fart?
No, he's been laying there most of the time. He was playing around a little bit in video. Anthony, you can do your zoom can onto that. I don't have the definition for revamped. I know that it is essentially to modify something.
On the outside, typically.
Redo it, make it better.
Bring it back to life.
Make it pretty.
Why you gotta remind me of the first words my father ever said to me that I remember?
Give
This
new
is
and
not a
improved
childhood trauma
form.
episode.
It's basically, yeah, you redo it, make it better.
Cool. Who
Yeah.
wants to use it in a sentence? We're gonna teach people some shit. Also, have a topic picking time. So we'll do that while he looks up something. Reach in, ma'am.
Ooh, gut instinct.
Okay. Do we like this topic?
Instincts?
I will nerd
Gut
off.
instinct.
1000%.
My, I don't know. I'm kind of like leaning away from it.
No, you're not feeling this
That's
topic.
fair. You won't be able.
Oh
to
my fucking god! Come on, instincts.
Can
I'm
Charlie have
leaning
hers?
away from it.
Okay, I'm gonna kill it.
I don't know what you said.
She's
I
gonna
think
kill
she's threatening to
something.
Kill us.
She said she's gonna kill something.
Post.
She's gonna eat some macaroni
Mac
and
and
cheese.
cheese? Oh, there
Right
you
out the
go.
pot.
I need to fix
Tell me you
myself
have the
something for
munchies
dinner.
without telling me you have the munchies.
Also,
Big box of cereal.
tell me you grew up poor without telling me you grew up poor.
I made candy bacon today.
I suck dick.
That's what that was.
Oh yeah.
Did we like that last topic or not?
That was a real awkward concoction of a sentence there.
I don't.
I'm
fucking
okay with it.
care.
Gut instinct? All I know
Gut
is I get that gut instinct when I need to call in, and then I don't and go in anyway, and my life's a living hell for 12 hours, and yeah, I kind of go back to the thought, fuck, I should listen to my gut instinct and called in.
Ding, ding, ding.
It works every time, too. And I hate myself when I don't.
Alrighty then. So next week's topic, people, gut instincts and how we can derail that into something deep social shit.
Gut instincts for
Sorry,
like 10
Nicole.
minutes, and then we'll be talking
you.
about fucking something or other. I don't know. That's what we do.
Also,
Yep.
follow us on social media. The links are in the description.
All the links are down below.
Anything? Anything? You look like you have
What?
something to say.
Oh,
You always look like you have something to say. And you knew I was talking about you.
well, I had this great meme, and I just wanted to read it real quick, and then I'll go the fuck away. You can follow me at, I don't know, it's something Hero Bastion or HB. It kind of depends on what social site you're following me on. Just,
Also, in the description.
In the description.
yeah, there you go.
All the links. Follow them all, share
Our
them all.
personal social medias and our group social medias,
Yep.
which we run like crap. So expect greatness.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
Patreon. Follow us on Patreon. Be a patron. We really appreciate you all. Thanks for listening all this way through this nonsense. It's
And
great.
now for HB's meme.
Now the meme.
So thank you, everybody. I'll play a go. I can help it.
So do I get to speak?
Yeah, do you
No.
want
No.
I'm allowed?
speak loud and
No.
assert your dominance? Okay, we will back down.
We're like siblings. You just gotta talk over us. Come on.
My siblings hated me and abused me.
We abuse
Nope.
you too, but it's out of love.
Don't use a big word when a singularly... Fuck! God damn it. Don't use a big word when a singularly unloquacious and diminutive linguistic expression will satisfactorily accomplish the contemporary necessity.
Sorry, the speech impediment totally wore off.
All right. This is a meme. I have to Google at least 5 of those damn words. What the hell kind of meme is this?
That's the whole point.
I'll look up dictionary memes, motherfucker.
Okay, that's fair.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Oh.
I actually saved this one like 4 days ago. I was just all like, oh, I love this. And then I was all like,
You did your best.
Oh,
You
we did
improved.
kind of derail you a few times while you tried to say it so I could understand.
She had to fuck with you, of course.
Alright, so
fun.
don't use a big word when a singularly loquacious word and diminutive linguistic expression will satisfactorily accomplish the contemporary necessity.
Okay.
Fuck all of you!
No.
I hate you!
You love us. The joy.
I tried to be accepting the last one and not just like leave and say goodbye, but you know what? Fucking goodbye.
Deuces.
No, never mind. I won't. No, I won't. I'll stay.
He's gonna do it when we least expect it.
Nah, he knows we're expecting it to just be random, so he's gonna wait, and he's not gonna be able to do it, and he'll be the last one on again. That was fun. Everybody hung up at him.
Fuck you. Fuck you all.
Bye, people.
Stay awesome, everybody.
I love you.
Peace.
Goodbye.
We love you too.
Oh my god. You fucking people.